Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. You got a dream. You gotta protect it. You want something, go get it. Period.
What's up, everybody? Jay Bandy here, and you're listening to the first episode of the For the Love podcast. I am the creator of the For the Love brand, and I'm bringing you this project that I believe can hopefully get everybody a little bit closer to each other, understand each other more, and have fun while doing it. You know, the human species and the human race is a very, very powerful thing on this earth, and we have the ability to do very wonderful and spectacular things, but we kind of got away from that a bit lately, and there's a lot going on in the world, so I hope to bring that to this show, which is going to be a lot of opinionated interviews and a lot of talk about just things going on in the world, how people are feeling, what they're doing with their lives, what they may be struggling with. So this first episode I really wanted to do solo by myself so that I can give people a little bit of a view into who I am as a person rather than just the perception that they may have of me from social media or other outlets that they've seen my whereabouts. So we often think we know a lot about people just based on our perception alone, and we're usually wrong for the most part. That's kind of what I hope this brand can do, is bring people together more and change their thinking and perception of who they are as a person, rather than looking at everybody else and focusing on what everybody else is doing and forming an opinion of that. We often are overlooking our own certain issues and our own well-being, our own flaws, and we lose touch with who we really are in reality, actually in this life. And we create this false sense of being, of who we want to be or who we think we are, based on a lot of our own issues. But because we don't focus on those things and we focus on other people or other things to deflect from those, we never really get around it. But there are a lot of people in this world that have gotten past that, have realized their flaws, looked into themselves, and stopped really dwelling on the negativity and all the other things going on in what they thought was their environment on the outside, and which is usually people, work, whatever it is on your routine day. There's a lot of people that I've came across in my life that, you know, I look at and I say to myself, wow, you know, that's a great conversation. That was a really in-depth look into that person and who they are and what they've been through in life or whatever. And a lot of times these conversations I get into with people are just random. You know, it's not a planned thing. It's just a flowing interest in each other's words. And that's another issue where we've got away from in life, is caring about other people and actually listening to what they're saying. We often are in a conversation and we're just waiting to respond rather than really listening and trying to dissect what these people are saying, because there's always things behind the words that really are emphasizing who that person is, and the emotion behind the word. There's always an emotion behind the word. That's the most important aspect of understanding something or someone. So these are my favorite conversations, and this is what I want to bring to this show. I want to bring people on that have touched me in life, that have touched others in life, that have went through things in life. I want to bring people on that are doing big things around here. If you don't know where I am and you're not familiar with me, then I want you to understand me as well. I'm a 34-year-old male from East Haven, Connecticut is where I grew up. I was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where my parents met, where we then traveled back to my father's homeland, which is Michigan, which is why I represent a lot of Michigan things in my life: clothing, teams, tattoos, etc. And when my parents split up, I came back here where my mother was, basically grew up, where her family was. And I grew up here for the most part throughout middle school, high school, and to where I am now. And if you're local, you might know me, both good and bad, for things that you may or may not think you know about me. And for the most part, the past is the past, and these are things that people go through in life, and it makes them either who they are in a good way or a bad way, and I'm proud of every aspect of my life regardless, because it's made me a certain person that I am now. And that person that I am now, I am very happy with, and I'm in a good place for myself, for my loved ones, and for my future. And that's what I want to bring to a lot of people in this podcast or in this world, is trying to help people that may be lost or not understanding themselves get to that point of enlightenment or self-respect and feeling good every day for the most part. You'll have your down days, you'll have your stressful days, but how you look at those and how you go about handling those hopefully will be a lot different and will contribute to your well-being and happiness. And that's what I want to bring. I want to bring people on here that have accomplished things in their life that maybe can motivate a lot of other people. There's a lot of people doing things around here that have hidden talents or businesses that are thriving, and there's a lot of people that are struggling that look up to those people, whether they're just normal local people around, and they say to themselves, shit, like, how do I get that? What is she doing or he doing that I'm not doing, and how did they do it? Well, I want to bring those people on. I want them to kind of just tell us what they did in their life, because the ironic thing about all of us as people is that we are so similar but so different in many ways. And it's the most ironic thing in the world, in my opinion, because there's so much involved in those two things. The fact that we're so intertwined with these aspects of life, yet we have so much hatred, we have so much love, we have so much dishonesty and honesty. It's like, we have a lot of different sides of every aspect. So really, I want people to understand, like, we all have the same ability. Even though we're all different or same, we all have the same ability. And whether you grew up in a shitty environment, no parents, the best parents, money, no money, food or no food, whatever it is, we all have that ability and that drive inside of us to get all those things, achieve all those goals, and be whatever we want to be in our life. And it sounds so cliche, and there's so many videos out there on YouTube, and we'll talk about these as well, because there's a lot of helpful ones, things that helped me, things that push me, that I utilize daily, that are positive. And I think that there's a lot of things in life that people are utilizing every day that are really negative, whether they're vices, whether it's alcohol, drugs, smoking, anything that is really just a temporary fix to whatever your negative emotions are, isn't going to do anything other than bring you down even more. And there are a lot of people that has happened to, and those are people that we are going to speak with as well. People that hit rock bottom and are now thriving in life. And that right there should be real motivation to some people, or most people, because these people have really gotten to the nitty gritty of life. Something has really hit them hard enough to give them that 360 motivation and turn their entire life around. That is one of the most respectable achievements in life. And there's a lot. I've come across a lot of people that have done that. And for the most part, I feel like I'm one of those people. I feel like we probably all are. We probably all have a part of our life where we felt like it fell apart, or we didn't know what to do, or we just were really on the outs, or the down and outs, and struggling. And something brought you back to reality, or brought you back to who you really needed to be to achieve those goals in life. Now, on the other hand, some people never get there. And that's why we have a lot of those opposite end aspects of life, where people never get that change, or that hit in life where something hits them hard enough emotionally, physically, whatever, to turn them around and say, I need to change, I need to be different, I need to really push hard and get what I want out of my life. And those people tend to let everything always get to them. Negativity, drama, past traumas that they've went through, they hold on to those forever. And we all do it. The majority of us in life are living a subconscious life and a routine life. We are not really strategically planning out every aspect of our day or life. And when you can start to really balance those things, meaning when I wake up every day, I have certain goals in my life, and I have certain things that I want to achieve, that I want to be, and that I want for the loved ones in my life. And I work extremely hard every single day to get that. And yeah, there's days where I'm tired and that I might be lazier than the last, but I make sure that at least something during that day was progressing me towards that goal. And that is in my mind all day long, from the second I wake up to the second I go to sleep, is what do I want to be? What do I want out of life? How do I get that? And what am I going to do to achieve it? And that can be running in the background 24/7. You could be multitasking all the time. And this is the difference between people that are being successful and getting the things they want out of life, and the people that aren't, and are usually hating on the ones that are doing it. So there's so many types of people out there these days. There's so many types of personalities. We see it all in the news, mental health, and what's going on in this world, the division. I'm sure people are going to come on here and talk about their views of politics and what's going on with our country, with certain types of do's and don'ts, I would say, now, meaning, what type of sexualities people are, how to speak to people now, what's the right politically correct thing to do, and what's real, and how people can handle this and not handle this. And we've become a very complex country, a very complex world, and I don't see that being a good thing for us. And I'm hoping that we can kind of take a step back and realize that we're all kind of in this together, and if we're not, there's going to be drastic effects to that in our life as we know it. So we need to really sit back, really stop feeding into the bullshit. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of manipulative things out there that you don't even really know are manipulating you and really driving your mind towards a certain thought until it's too late, really, if you ever even get to that point of realizing. And these are things that politics and politicians are doing to us. High-powered business people, millionaires, billionaires, CEOs of these big companies, Facebook, Apple, so on and so forth. Big companies really benefiting off of manipulating people. And really all business is manipulation and lies. If you really know the ins and outs of marketing and so on and so forth, all that stuff is to get the people to buy the product, not like the product. The majority of what these companies want is just for people to purchase the product. Yeah, they want you to rebuy that and continue to purchase it, but their main concern is selling that and making people like it. And guess what? Same thing for politics and politicians. You see that. We see it in movies. And a lot of things, even though entertainment is entertainment, they base a lot of that stuff off of real life, which is why these actors will sometimes shadow real life people, real life cops, real life lawyers, real life whatever for their roles, because they're getting a lot of that entertainment and scenes and how they act from what's really going on in the real world. So when you see in the movies and stuff all these politicians and they have their advisors that are telling them how to act and what to say and writing their speeches for them, and we're thinking that that's all real and they really think that about us and they're going to do that, when this is all strategically placed for us to be manipulated, and mainly for a gain of money or wealth, greed, whatever. And that's getting out of control at this point. We see it everywhere, whether it's business, whether it's the underground, the drug world, the gambling world, the sex world, all the sex trafficking going on out here. There's so much going on in this world that can be talked about, and I really am interested to see what everybody's opinions are on all these things that really are happening in the world, especially people that I grew up with, my generation, where, I'm hoping this brings a lot of people that I grew up with together. We can understand who we are, haven't talked to each other in a long time, see how everybody's doing, appreciate who we are as adults now, and really look back in the past and kind of laugh at a lot of things that we either were or did at a younger age, and who we've become as adults now and where we are. And some of us may be doing very well and some of us may not, and I hope that the people that are doing well can pick up the people that are not and motivate them and push them into an upward area of their life. And believe it or not, I used to be a big believer in that only one person can be the change they need in their life, meaning like only I can change myself, which is true. But where my mind was skewed with that was that you didn't think that you affected people, and that could be where my mind was at the time, or just how much negativity is really out there that we're surrounded by all the time. But a lot of things really do affect people in a positive manner that you might not think, and they're very minor and very little. But some of these people have reached out to me and told me about things that I've done either in my profession or as a friend or whatever it is, and told me, that it really uplifted them. It really gave them the push they needed, or the motivation, or the compassion, and they weren't treated in the same manner that they have always been by most people. And it really does hit you in a manner of being able to say, wow, I need to do that more often. I really need to start sitting down and thinking about how I really treat people and what I say or do that can affect people in such a positive manner. And that's partly why I want all this brand of For the Love to bring people together for that aspect, for love, because it is definitely the most powerful thing in the world. Love, there's nothing more powerful than love. It makes you do crazy shit. I see it all the time. It makes people go nuts. It makes people, every emotion in the world comes from love. okay? Every emotion. And it makes people do and feel crazy things. But, there should always be a positive manner of love, even though sometimes there isn't. And people do things that really don't emphasize what it really is meaning. But there should always be a positive manner of that word. And that's what the brand For the Love is. It's basically about doing everything for that reason, doing things for the love. Your life should really be about loving yourself first, really be about doing what you want to do, having self-respect, respecting others, and just really getting the most out of your life. We don't have a lot of time to do this. And I think that's something that really people forget about, and they get stuck in that routine, and things go by very quickly, and they're at a point in their life where they have a lot of regrets, and they can't go back. All that time is wasted, and what do? A lot of people fall into midlife crises or drugs and alcohol or whatever else, mental health issues, because they get to a point where they're like, holy shit, I'm 50 years old now, 60, whatever it is, and I didn't get to do anything I wanted to do in my life. You can balance so much. It's not easy. Nothing in life is. All the good things in life are hard as shit to get. We all know this deep down, okay? If you really want something, it's probably not going to be easy, but that's what makes it that much sweeter when you get it. The sacrifice, the hard work, and being able to enjoy that and knowing that you got that by sticking it out, okay, and being disciplined. These are traits in your life that you need to abide by regularly, because all the good things in your life that you want will usually come from really hard times, really stressful times, or times where you need to sacrifice and be really smart decision making. That's another thing I really want to talk a lot about in this podcast is decisions. We're going to be able to sit down with people that have made a lot of good decisions in their life and a lot of bad decisions in their life. So how did these decisions affect their life? How did they pull themselves out of it? Did they benefit from it? Did it work out? Did they fail? And that's another thing, failure. Everybody is so scared of it, so scared of failure. It's like probably the one thing that holds so many people back in life is the fear of failure, and just fear in general. Fear of, what do we think people are going to think about us? If I fail, I'm going to look stupid. I don't want to lose all the money that I do have, so I'm not going to take this risk of investing and bettering my life because, I only have a few $1,000s. When I talk earlier about strategy, that's where strategy comes into life. And we often get caught in that routine, and we don't strategize how we're going to really roll our life out. So you really need to kind of sit down and say, what do I want out of my life? There's a lot of things that, especially when you get to 30 years old, I don't know about people my age or other people in similar shoes as mine, but when I got to, especially this year, this past year, 2019, was a big year for me to realize who I was as a person, what was holding me back, who I needed to be, and what I really wanted in my life. And now, because I was able to understand those things, it's almost like a cakewalk. You wake up every day and you're just so motivated to get to what you want to be because you have all those answers. So I really want to help people try to get to that point, because I think there's a lot of people out there that have so many talents that they're not aware of, and you can really succeed off of things that you like in life. You can monetize things that you like in life. And we're going to talk about businesses that I created, that I currently own, that how I did that, how I came up with the ideas and how I implemented those and actually made it a thing. That's the hardest part, is to take your idea and be creative with it and actually make it into something that you can utilize to profit from. That can really be done with anything. You just have to let go of the fear, number one. That's what we talked about earlier, and we'll touch on all those things, and we'll see how other people did it as well. That's why I want to bring on people that are successful and doing well in life and doing things and having careers that they love and that they are succeeding very well in, because we all, for the most part, want that. That's the main goal. We all don't really hate to work. We just hate working, doing something we don't love. And that's where I want to push. I don't care if it's one person. I don't care if one person from this podcast listens to it and it motivates them, and they go out there and do everything that they're seeing other successful people do, and they create the life they always wanted. If one person does that, I'm happy. I'm happy, and I achieve my goal of why I'm doing this in the first place. Because in reality, a lot of this social media stuff, a lot of the podcasts, a lot of the Instagram photos, all these things, it's so much negativity added to it, and there's a lot of fakeness. It's not real. What are people really doing these things for? You see people on social media going around and giving money to homeless people, but having to film themselves doing it. You see females everywhere with their bodies just half naked and making tons and tons of money from doing it. Are these things right, or are they wrong? Is it good for our society? Is it bad for our society? Social media has created so many things that are beneficial, but a lot of things that are really, really bad, and creating a lot of bad personalities and traits in our world. A lot of attention seeking, a lot of scams going on. So these are all things that we'll touch base on, things that go on in our everyday life, out of the ordinary things. If anybody really wants to come on, they're free to come on, and that's what I want. I want people to reach out to me. I want people to connect. I want to know what people are doing out there that is benefiting them in a positive manner, or benefited other people in a positive manner. That's very important as well, is to always think about others. Think about others. And I'm not saying you have to think about every single person in this world, but what matters to you? What type of character do you want to have? What type of reputation do you want to have for that character? Simple things, holding the door open for people, saying thank you, please. All these things we get away from all the time. I see it all the time. How many times have you opened the door for somebody, they don't say shit, and you're just like, yeah, you're welcome. I've said that to people because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't say thank you to somebody that is obviously doing a nice gesture. It's ridiculous. So there's so much to touch on with basically, limited amount of time. This is something that we need to utilize properly. So time is everything, and I'm trying to utilize mine properly. I'm trying to do things that I love in life, create art that I feel is beneficial to my life and hopefully beneficial to others, makes me happy. And I love art. Art to me is everywhere. Everywhere you look in this world, there is art. Whatever you have in your house, whatever, the car you drive, the phone you hold, it's all art. It's all design. It's all creativity, and in reality, this whole world is an art museum. But it's time to stop damaging that art, and it's time to stop making it negative and really just killing it. We need to embrace it, see it for what it really is, see ourselves for who we really are, and just bring that out of us. Bring that goodness out of us. And I know there's a lot of people out there struggling. I come across a lot of those people. We all have stories behind who we show we are out there to everybody every day. Meaning, we put on those smiles, we go out, we go to work, we do what we have to do, and then we come home and, behind closed doors, there's always more to the story of who we are as a person. And that's something that we all need to figure out for ourselves and embrace our goods with our bads, learn from our failures, and see how other people are doing it. Remember to do things for the love. And I hope you all tune in for the next episode. I just wanted to keep this one short. My next episode, I will have a guest, and we will be talking basically about who this person is. You'll get to know a little bit about them and our connection and the things that they went through in life, or he went through in life, that brought us closer, brought him closer to a lot of people, and where he's at in that life. So stay tuned for that. If you want to be a part of this project, you want to come on, you want to talk about things that matter to you, and you think you might be able to help people, or you might be able to get your story out there that you feel is beneficial, or you're doing something big in business or art or whatever it is, your talent may still be out there to be figured out. And hopefully we can do that together, and our listeners can help. Anybody, any insight, any questions, anything you want me to answer on the show, you can DM me, find me on Facebook, Jay Bandy, follow me on Instagram @ForTheLove. Check the For the Love photography. You can find all those links on our Instagram, basically. You can find your way to those pages. If you did not know, I also do own a company called V-Rush Vapes, the world's first pre-workout in a vape. There's a lot to that product. It is the only product in the world that's like that, and we'll get a little bit into all that stuff when we talk business and how I created some of these businesses and implemented the ideas that I had. I hope everybody stays safe. I want you guys to be happy. I want you guys to be proud of your lives, and let's do this together. Let's push this movement and see how far we can bring it. Take care. Peace.